I will ditch my 3 years of using Unity to make my first ever horror game in not only a game engine I have never used before, but a programming language that doesn't even know me. But why even bother doing this in the first place? I often tell myself a quote, and it goes like this: I don't need anyone, I need someone. This means that yes, I do acknowledge that I'm not Superman, I'm not Hulk or something invisible which doesn't need anyone. Still, I don't wish to rely on something so much that without it, I'm as good as dead. I think you know where I'm heading at. Over the past 12 months, Unity has been making really questionable decisions, which is why I am switching to Godot. And while I'm at it, let's make a horror game. On opening Godot, yeah, I had no idea what to do. Maybe I can't make my horror game just yet, so I followed this beginner tutorial by CocoDev just to know the ins and outs of how Godot worked overall before starting to make my masterpiece. I added a town map with a frog sprite, then I began my long-awaited journey of finally teaching C#. I am well aware that Godot offers support for C#, still I chose GDScript because I think game dev is just way more fun when it's challenging and uncertain. The first thing I couldn't understand about GDScript is why isn't there semicolons? Well, coming from someone who used C# as his first and only language, this just felt wrong, like blasphemy wrong. Still though, learning GDScript was really simple. I guess this just goes to show that once you learn one language, you ultimately learn all. And voila, we have a moving character with animations. After this experiment, I was feeling quite confident at this point, so I started working on the best horror game ever, pun intended. Basically, the idea is we have a groom trying to kiss his bride, then an alien eating. Now there is a button which is connected to a bomb. All you have to do is to press the button by drawing something to hit something to hit the button. Between you and future me, now that I see this idea is stupid, and I later made something different later in the video. I created a new scene and started working on the drawing mechanic. Obviously, I don't know how to do this, even in Unity. So I followed this line 2D tutorial and easily I had a drawing mechanic. Wow. Now I felt proud of having this great achievement. But the next task, to my surprise, was also nothing but easy. It was kinda hard, extremely hard. Next on the agenda was to make the line 2D collide with the rest of the world. I know, simple. Okay, my primitive idea on doing this was to simply spawn bunch of square colliders as I drew, but I thought nah, there just had to be a better, more sophisticated way of doing this. So I followed yet another tutorial on drawing polygon colliders, and to be honest, I didn't understand it. I don't know, I just my brain hurts. I went through with it regardless like a monkey, and it worked kinda. Not at all. Okay, technically it does actually work, but only when you draw a straight line and not for any other shape. Not good. I investigated it and realized that the shapes the polygon was drawing was just weird, and it turns out Godot can't draw polygons inside out, or as they say, more than 180 degrees. So that's it. It's impossible to make a game like this in Godot, and it's all Godot's fault. Let me try again. I decided to further read Godot documentation. I know I can't even believe I'll ever read a documentation in my life, but still, it was worth it because I found an X factor, the gold hidden beneath the treasure. segments. Now, I didn't know before that Godot had different drawing modes, but they do, and turns out in segment mode one could actually exceed 180 degrees. So I switched course and changed the build mode to segments, and indeed it worked. Yeah, it works, but doesn't collide with themselves, and it's also not a bug. This is not discouraging. I have already spent 3 days on this. Maybe it's not possible to have physics drawing in Godot at all. So I searched the internet to witness this with my very own eyes, and truly I did find a web game made in Godot that could draw in real time. But how? I knew I just couldn't give up like this. I won't be happy. So I spent the next few days trying to solve this problem on my own. Yes, it works. For real this time, and trust me, you won't believe how I actually solved it. You know that's my initial solution of spawning colliders as I draw? That solved it, and now I look stupid. Still, with that finally out of the way, done and dusted, it's time to review the actual idea behind the game. I haven't explicitly said this, but this game is actually an horror game. Puzzle horror game. But there isn't any puzzle yet, so I added a ball script to detect collision. At this moment, I realized one could easily cheat the game, because instead of drawing a shape to push the ball, one could just push it while drawing. That's not a puzzle at all, but still, I could just leave it as is and keep my sanity. Don't worry guys, I have a plan. Yes, that I do.
The plan is simple: to use a raycast to check if the mouse is currently on an object, and if so, we don't draw. Easy peasy. I don't know exactly how to use a raycast in Godot, so I watched a tutorial.
Wait! Did you download Grammarly? Come on, man.
So I read a documentation. I sought a new path using a sphere collider that triggers when it hits an object, and of course, it worked when it works. I sought a new path, and this time it's sure to work because it simply can't. I saw with my sister a segment cast 2D. I coded the script to move one segment point to the last mouse position and the other to the current mouse position. Haha, as expected.
It works? Wait, it actually works. So around this time, I started experimenting with different ways the puzzle could be solved that could actually be fun. So I changed the bounciness of the ball, different puzzle patterns. It wasn't fun until I changed gravity, and I can say this felt fun. This made me rethink, and I realized my previous ideas were at best stupid. Okay, to make up for this, why don't we change the ball to a bomb, with the goal now being to guide the bomb towards the alien, and I was satisfied with this idea, so right out of the gate, I started making the art. AI started making the art. A 2D game sprite of a groom kissing an alien bride. It's okay, but it doesn't feel horror. Okay, let's try Medusa. So I abandoned the idea for the time being and started working on the bumps, love bumps, and after some iterations, I finally ended up with something quite decent, though I had to train it with another image. Back to the Medusa. I eventually decided to use one of the first couples. I changed the color of the bride, and fast forward, we have this. There is one big thing missing from this game though: blood. I messed around with Godot's particle system and honestly was quite intuitive. I added sounds, text, blood, and finally exported it as a browser game. Yes, WebGL. I initially wanted to port it to Android so I could put loads of ads and wallow in riches, but then I realized I only have like one subscriber. So yeah, what was the point of all this again? Oh, Unity. I am not switching. To be honest, I did enjoy using Godot. That novel, exciting, but yet challenging feeling of knowing nothing to playing your very own game. It made me just feel nostalgia at best. But Unity is home, though a chaotic one. Thank you for watching.